Greetings, everybody. Welcome to G4G. Happy New Year. I figured I would start off the new year with a video wrapping up what I had played and dealt with in 2020. I also, towards the end of 2020, was hinting in a few videos that there was going to be a little bit of a personal surprise that I was going to be tackling in a video somewhat soon, and finally today I'm going to reveal that surprise, and that is G4G has a new mascot. This is Chewy. Chewy is my first ginger boy. We got him about a week or so after Arthas had passed away, and we adopted him from PetSmart. And yes, hi, it's you. We adopted him from PetSmart, and they had a partner program called Per Partners over there, and we saw him and his brother while we were there getting some food, and we knew we wanted to adopt after Arthas passed, because he left a huge hole in our lives, especially me. You know, there is Albedo, but Albedo is my girlfriend's cat, and I knew I wanted to have a cat after Arthas had passed. So we saw him and his brother. He was originally called Spaghetti, and his brother Sunspot was there, another ginger, and we went through the whole work of adopting him, which is a very long process for Per Partners. I mean, it was basically like getting public clearance. It was like getting security clearance for the U.S. government, basically. And within about a day or so, first seeing him, we had adopted him. And yes, you. We're talking about you. And it's it's great having him. It'll be different than the whole process that I had with Arthas, who, you know, he and I were alone for about 5 years before my girlfriend moved in, and, you know, then another couple years before he had Albedo. So the bonding process with Chewy is going to be a little different. It's a busier household, but he and Albedo get along well. They play fight quite a bit, but they also are nice to each other and sweet to each other. And since my girlfriend and I went two different directions for Christmas, we were able to board them at my vet for a few days, and they got along very, very well when they were boarding. So this is Chewy, who is named after, not Chewbacca, but in an indirect way it is Chewbacca, because Chewy is named after the Captain Marvel cat. Now, I had remembered that there was the Flurkin in the Captain Marvel movie. Right. Yeah, we're still talking about you. There was the Flurkin in the Captain Marvel movie, but what I forgot was that he was called Goose in the movie. I always kept thinking of him as Chewy because of Marvel Duel, and he's referenced Chewy everywhere else. So when I went to go name him after the Captain Marvel cat, I accidentally named him after the comic version of the cat, not the movie, which is fine. So he is Chewy G for Chewy Goose in reference to it. So his album on my Facebook is Furious Flurkin, and it has the picture of Chewy from Marvel Duel with the Cthulhu tentacles coming out and everything. So he is, I think, about 4 or 5 months at this point. He's a little bit younger than Albedo and a little bit smaller. So that was kind of the big surprise. I hinted at it in a few of the videos that I'd done towards the end of the year. And when I lingered on the picture of Chewy from Marvel Duel for a little bit, that was kind of the hint. But you know, Arthas will, of course, have a space in my life that will never be taken over and everything. Hold on, I'm going to go ahead and let him go. Here you go, Chewy. There you go. Alright, so 2020, the year in gaming. What did I play? What did I think of it and everything? How busy of a year was it, or how tight of a year was it? So, the beginning of the year, of course, was playing World of Warcraft, Battle for Azeroth, and we all know that was shit. It was a shitty expansion following a good expansion in Legion. And the pressure was on for Blizzard to go ahead and make sure that they didn't have two bad expansions in a row. Similar to how Windows was never allowed to have two bad versions of Windows in a row. When you had Windows Millennium, you couldn't follow it up with something as bad as Millennium. So, Battle for Azeroth for us lasted until about May, when we downed Heroic N'Zoth for a second time. And, you know, you always get that first kill, but you never consider a boss truly dead until you get the second time. So we killed him the second time in May, and then that was it. We were done with the expansion. We called it. A guild we were co-rating with, we said, alright, that's it. And they were like, yeah, no, that's fine. Everybody knew the expansion was garbage, so the moment we considered ourselves remotely done, we were done. And then that was it until Shadowlands dropped. So, next up is the Shadowlands Beta, and the live version of it. I did enjoy the beta of Shadowlands. I leveled twice in the beta. I was trying to be cautious because I leveled essentially 1.5 times during the MOP beta, the Mists of Pandaria beta, and it burnt me out on that expansion. I hated Mists of Pandaria. It's not a hateful expansion. It does get relatively high marks with people, but the aesthetic, music, leveling 1.5 times in the beta, leveling 1.5, almost 2 times when it went live, guild turmoil in that expansion, the people that I was dealing with, it was a hated expansion. So I was a little cautious about burning out on a beta again, but I really like the Shadowlands beta. And since it's been live, it's a good expansion. I mean, it is the number one selling PC game of all time, and you know, for relatively decent reason. It's been going good so far. We're 6 of 10 in the first raid, so it's been going pretty good. Final Fantasy VII, the remake. That of course had its initial delay and everything, where it was supposed to come out ahead of time, and then it came out like a little bit later because of, you know, dealing with the itis and everything. I need to get back into it. Sadly, I didn't finish version 1.0 of this, and I really do need to go and go back to it and finish it. It was just at a time where things were moving along interestingly in our lives, because it was May, and you know, everything was starting to adapt to the itis and quarantines and lockdowns and everything. So it was a complicated time to do it, and I don't know, I mean, I should have been playing it like crazy after we wrapped up Battle for Azeroth. I just don't know why it faded to me, but I at least am up to getting Tifa back, like cross-dressing. I know I made it that far, and I've got a lot to go, but yeah, so that was another big one. Ghost of Tsushima. This is one that I got more for my girlfriend. It was a May birthday gift, but I actually used a birthday gift to get a game that was a little bit more for her, even though I intended to play it. She was playing it for a while, and then we replaced our kind of dead beanbag chair with a really, really good one, so that she could get more comfortable and play it more frequently and everything. And again, we just sort of moved on. Nothing is wrong with the game. It's a fantastic game, and we never hit any bugs or anything like that. And I got, like, this was a pre-order for me, and I got a relatively good edition of it. we just need to get back to this one. There was no reason why Final Fantasy VII or Tsushima was particularly abandoned. Just other things took over a little bit. For me, Overwatch and Heroes of the Storm managed to keep me going throughout the year. More Overwatch than Heroes this year, especially in the second half. HOTS faded on me a little bit. I went from nearly daily HOTS playing to about 2 times a week, usually a Saturday night and one other night of the week. And now recently it actually had been a couple weeks since I hopped in, but I hopped in last night and enjoyed some games in there. So I'm still playing HOTS. Picked up Hogger last night, but haven't played him yet. Over on the mobile sphere, of course, we lost Battle Lines in the beginning of the year, which was that original card game. But then we would wind up getting Marvel Duel towards the end of the year. This is one that I need to do a video on later today because we have a New Year's update and there's a festival going on in there that deserves discussion. The Marvel Realm of Champions came on right at the end of the year, but I had been playing the beta of it for some time now. This is a bit of a divisive game, Realm of Champions. It's made by Kabam, which is not a good point for a lot of people. The same people who do Contest of Champions. It's set in the Contest of Champions universe. However, it's a battle arena. I wouldn't call it a MOBA, like some people do. It's a battle arena. And some people find it boring, some people find it fun. I feel that it's good fun for quick matches. I mean, you could 3, 4, 5 minutes be done with a match. It doesn't seem particularly greedy right now. Login bonuses and dailies are pretty easy to do, and I've kept my characters decked out. I can't show it because it's not emulator compatible, but which is not surprising because Kabam, for some reason, started coming down on emulators for Contest of Champions, and I had 2 bans in there because of it, and I didn't know that was what was causing it at first. I had a short one, and then I discovered what the issue was, and then I got like a really long one. But so we got Realm of Champions here. It's okay. I mean, you could try it out. I wouldn't recommend that you avoid it, but I can understand if you tried it for a week and were like, no, I don't. This is stupid. Of course, we had the Marvel Avengers Alliance Redux betas, 3 and 4. 2 and 3 were dealt with. And 4 is hopefully on its way. It was due out around Christmas, but it didn't make that. Goofy's still working on a lot of things. That's of course extremely exciting. To see another beta coming out. We may get full-fledged combat back in there. We may have statuses and effects in this combat too. I'm not going to say that a bruiser is going to get a bonus for attacking a scrapper quite yet. But I do believe he's getting close to getting the effects back in there, like bleeding and burning and things like that. So you have to remember for Beta 3, that beta was all about the UI and research and the weapon screens and everything like that. Combat was not the focus, which is why it had the auto combat. So I expect in 2021 some really good things from the betas over there. Will we see a final version 2021? It's the beginning of the year. We got 365 days to go. I think it's a possibility. I really do. Up next on the Epic Store, we had Godfall arrive towards the end of the year. Considered a slasher looter, a Borderlands of swords, really, and melee. A little bit of hype around it, and then unfortunately it got panned. Relatively badly. I wouldn't say the worst panning in the world. I'd say at 80-75% panning is what it went through. I think it's fun. I like to use my gamepad with it rather than mouse and keyboard. I don't see a reason why I would uninstall it or stop playing it. I've just been tied up with Shadowlands, but it's, Godfall was pretty decent fun. Hades is a critical darling. I had Hades on my Epic Game Store for a long time, being part of a beta, and then it kept, or early launch maybe, and it kept adapting and growing and everything like that. It's a lot of fun. My girlfriend has wanted to play it. I've watched streamers for it. I like it a lot, but again, it's another one that you don't have to spend an entire night playing. You could get some really good progress just playing it for like an hour or so. Borderlands 3 was fun. In 2020, we had a couple expansions over there. Some had high marks, some were okay. The last one was Psycho Krieg, was a lot of fun. The Love and Hammerlock one I thought was a lot of fun, but it was a little bit controversial with the two main characters being gay and having a wedding, but that's just people's stupidity over there. The expansions for it were great. It's been a while since I played it because I just don't have anything to play in it right now. Mortal Shell came out in 2020. That is a Bloodborne, Dark Souls kind of game. I like the beta for it. The whole inhabiting different shell thing is fun. The weapon selection's pretty good. I do need to install it and play it some more. Dauntless had a lot of progress in 2020, but I haven't played that in a while. That's, of course, a Monster Hunter type game. Marvel's Avengers. I mean, we were supposed to get that in the spring. We got it in the fall. And, I mean, what can we say about that? It is considered one of the worst releases. Right up there with Aliens, Colonial Marines, and No Man's Sky. And that's a shame, because everybody had hopes for this one. You have the stupidity arguments going around that it is another minority Marvel vehicle where, a minority character, a minority race person is pushing it. I absolutely hate when I hear that, because I think Kamala Khan was amazing for the story. I think she drove the story well as one of the most likable characters we've dealt with in a while in a Marvel game. And I can't imagine that game being led by anybody else. She's a unifier, similar to, I forget who it was, but somebody ran around in House of M trying to put everybody back together that was kind of a fan of superheroes and everything. She's just such a likable character. I think the voice actress was amazing. But, it was buggy. It was buggy, and a lot of people don't like the gameplay loop. I did a video stating that Marvel's Avengers cannot be buggy and broken because it takes people like me, people who are used to that kind of grind from MMOs and RPGs and everything, and it gets on our last nerve. Like, people like me are okay with that grind. We're fine with characters, we're fine with the plot, we just want to, Pokemon a character up, get the character, raise them up to levels of gear and skill, and enjoy them. But when the game crashes, when enemies get stuck in a wall and you can't kill them and you can't progress, and Thor keeps locking my game up and everything. So I'm the kind of person that Square can't piss off. Everybody else, they're going to have their reasons for dropping it easily, but Kate Bishop came out towards the end of the year. I've been playing her. Just, again, really haven't had time to go back to it, thanks to Shadowlands. Cyberpunk 2077 we got towards the end, and that that literally said, hold my beer, Marvel's Avengers. That, of course, has had several videos on the channel. We know how broken 2077 is. I mean, we have dongs flying out of people's zippers. We have people standing in their cars, T-posing, cars building up on the highway because there's no AI. massive bugs around on that. The fact that it crashes on consoles, which is nuts. It poor performance on PCs. Community coming out with Ryzen patches and FPS patches. They have a long way to go, and there's a lawsuit from the investors now, so I haven't installed, I just haven't played it yet. I got it through GOG, Good Old Games. I do it through their launcher, I just haven't played it yet. Alex was a birthday gift for me over on Steam VR, and I was playing that on my Quest, but now I have the Quest 2. I need to get back to it. I was playing it while I was working from home in the spring when we first got the quarantine orders and everything. I was working and also playing Alex, and it was a lot of fun. Except I had put it down for a couple weeks, and when I went back to it, I forgot how to reload. And there's a head where I saved the game. There's like a head crab right in front of me, and I need to reload to kill it. I've just forgotten what to do, so I kind of went oops, and I put it down. I just need to know how to reload, and then I can get back into it easily. And I want to, because I want to do more VR stuff now, especially that I have the Quest 2. Marvel Strike Force throughout the year grew and grew on me. I like it more. It is a game that I like playing and playing heavily and keeping up with relatively. I think Strike Force, I mean, it's greedy, no doubt about that. They're not doing too bad under Scopely, but I did get more and more into Strike Force throughout the year. The opposite happened with Future Fight. Between the boycott and the fact there are just so many mechanics in there and so many events that make you do 10 out of the 32 activities in there in a day, I just don't really do Future Fight anymore, and it's hard for me to cover it on the channel, and I'm just not really that interested in it. DC Legends is still going relatively strong for me. However, the raids kill me. I hate raids in DC Legends, and every raid week that we've had over the year, except for maybe the 2, something was always happening. I was either out of town, or I was my job at the beginning of the year was wrapping up, and like Jude, I was just, there was one that first came out like when everybody was dealing with the itis and quarantine and everything. So I just got super tired of raiding in DC Legends, and it literally makes you be a lifeless loser for half a week there. You can do nothing other than play the raids the way it's expected of you. So yeah, that part bugged me, but I still like DC Legends. Era of Chaos over here was a game that came out in 2020, and it's a lot of fun. I don't share Era of Chaos with too many people. I think one person I know, Darth Plato, was playing it, but we don't talk about it anymore. I still like it. It's a lot of fun. It's not particularly greedy. You get pretty good amount for your money in there. It doesn't even really ask you for a lot of money. Of course, we lost Battle Lines. Marvel Duel. What can I say about that? It's not global, but if you have an Android device or an emulator like I do, it's very easy to play Marvel Duel. It's a lot of fun. Like, it really... Whoa. Hello, 60 Shards of Helena. It really hooked me. And, I can't say enough good things about Marvel Duel. Like, I really need to play Marvel Duel about once a day. And I feel off when I don't get the chance to do it. Warcraft 3 Reforged in the beginning of the year. That was 2020. Horrid. Absolutely horrid. Refunded that right after I got it. Unfortunately, that means I lost my World of Warcraft bonuses, like the mount and everything, but it was absolutely worth it to get my money back from that. Warcraft 3 was a pile of shit, and we would probably still remember that was a pile of shit if it didn't happen so much in the beginning of the year, and then get overshadowed by things like Marvel Avengers Alliance and Cyberpunk. We would probably still be talking about how bad it is. So, I'm going to wrap it up here for the Chewy update and also my games in 2020. I probably will be doing a little bit of a follow-up video for this where myself and my girlfriend, we're going to discuss some of the other games that have happened in 2020. She has a different set that she's been involved with, like Destiny and the Destiny expansions, which I have not particularly followed. Some games on the Switch and everything. So we're probably going to do a little bit of a second video there where we talk about those. And, some other games that came out in 2020 that we didn't directly experience, but we knew well enough about. And I'll probably be talking about some things like Carrion and Bleeding Edge. She might mention some things like Animal Crossing New Horizons, Destiny, a few others like that. So there's definitely more to talk about from 2020, but we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. So from myself and new G4G mascot Chewy, have yourself a good 2021. Let's hope it's a lot better, and let's take a nice long hot shower and wash the stink of 2020 off of us over here and hope that it's a lot better in 2021. See everybody.